A crunch meeting between telecom workers, their employers, and the Labour Commission to prevent Ghana's telecommunication system from imminent shutdown over an impending strike ends. We have exclusive fallouts for you here on the news tonight. President of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa-Akufo-Addo, announces dualization of the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway, noted for deadly accidents and long hours of vehicular traffic. Perepone and Saboba districts in the northeast region isolated after torrential rain breaks the Wapuli-Yendi road apart. On the international front, a second UN helicopter crashes in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in 5 months, leaving 3 crew members injured. Thank you so much for your time this year on the news tonight. First in the bulletin, a crunch meeting between telecom workers, their employers, and the Labour Commission to prevent Ghana's telecommunication system from imminent shutdown over an impending strike has ended in Accra. The aggrieved workers served notice to start an indefinite strike effective Monday, September 5, 2022, to press some demands for a number of conditions of service. We will be speaking exclusively with the General Secretary of the Telecom and IT Professionals Union, Israel Edem. But before then, let's turn to our video wall to tell you more about the workers and know what exactly they do as workers of this particular outfit. And it says, telecom workers to embark on strike, composition of the Telecom and IT Professionals Union, and telecom engineers, technicians, information technology, IT professionals, and other allied workers. These personnel are mostly outsourced for their respective roles. They manage the key technical operations for 3 major telecom operators. These operators include MTN, Vodafone, and Airtel Tigo. Immediate recall of all targeted members of TIP whose contract have not been renewed by the employers by mere association with the union. So these are the key demands from the telecom workers. And the second one says immediate recall of all targeted union leaders who are part of the current Joint Standing Negotiation Committee and subcommittee negotiating this year's CA and salary increment. Immediate payment of golden handshake to all TIP members whose contracts have ended with Reliance and have not been renewed. Cooperation from the employers to jointly sign and submit a letter to NLC referring to the pending items in the 2022 CA negotiation and the 2022 salary increment negotiation. We are now joined on phone by Israel Edem Agbegbo, who is the General Secretary of the Telecom and IT Professionals Union, here on the news tonight for more details and update from their meeting and what they're actually drumming home to their employers. Good evening to you and welcome to News Night. Now, what were the fallout from the meeting you held today?
Good evening and good evening to your viewers and listeners across the country. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It has not been easy for us, but we've managed to engage the NLC and who have tried to at least get the union to hold on to the strike action. And as you also know, we are essential service. And so what the commission did was to immediately direct that management and union go back and then conclude on the negotiation and sign the letter of deadlock referring the pending issues for compulsory arbitration. And so we were able to do that, which is the third condition that the union, non-negotiable condition of the union. Now, with the second one, which has to do with the payment of the severance, the golden handshake, the commission indicated that it's now that it's a new commission they have constituted, and therefore the commissioners took the evidence submitted by the union, which is the arbitration award, and the other two directives which were given by their predecessors. They've promised the union that they are going to study it, and then on Wednesday, 3 p.m., we'll meet, and then they will make their definite ruling to bring finality to that matter as well, which is the point two. Now, with the point one, which has to do with the termination of the unfair termination of our members, the commission advised that the union should immediately submit a complaint indicating a different complaint on this particular matter. And so they have given the union Monday to submit that. And so basically that was what transpired at the National Labour Commission. In compliance with their directive, management and union went back to also conclude the negotiation and also signed the joint letter, submitted it to the NLC, got it acknowledged, received, and then we are now almost done with that one. So we can say that 1 out of 3 of the non-negotiable conditions have been met. But as you know, this decision was not taken alone by the General Secretary. It was a national decision, a decision taken by the entire leadership, made up of the Governing Council and the Central Committee. So we told the commission, we've heard them, but the union has still not taken a final decision yet. We have to do consultation. Indeed, the chairman has called for emergency meeting tomorrow with both the Governing Council and the Central Committee to take a decision on the directive given by the NLC. Mind you, this action was not taken lightly, or this decision to go on strike was not a light decision. And
all right. Adam, you also spoke of golden handshake. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the golden handshake is something of an exit pay, or at times what we call a severance after working with the companies. Basically, the point is we are operation workers. Our work exists till the telecom service companies do not exist any longer. However, for their own convenience, they refuse to give us a permanent contract and give our members fixed term contract, which means that it's every year you have to get your contract renewed or not renewed. And so in 2019, we sent this matter to an arbitration, and the panel then thought it wise that no, this is not fair, considering the fact that this is a job that exists, the companies do not exist any longer. They gave us an award of 1 month's salary per each year worked. However, they capped it to 5 years, so that any member whose contract will not be renewed by any of these subcontracting companies who are our employers, they will pay this employee this amount of money, 1 month salary for a maximum of 5 years, to cushion the employee, knowing that the work actually exists, but it is because management refused to renew their contract.
All right. Tell me, what is the state of the strike as we speak?
As far as we are concerned, the strike notice is still relevant. We have to engage the entire national leadership has to meet, and then finally, hopefully by tomorrow, close of tomorrow, we should be able to take a final decision and communicate to the general public. But as of this moment that I'm granting the interview, our stance still remains so until outcome of tomorrow's meeting with the national executives and the central committee.
All right, thank you, Edem, for your time. That's on the news. Edem Agbegbo is the General Secretary of the Telecom and IT Professionals Union here in Ghana. Away from that, Member of Parliament Health Committee Dr. Sandari Sebastian has expressed worry over government's inability to employ over 1,000 new doctors who finished their housemanship almost a year ago but have since remained home. Dr. Sandari says the doctors may be forced to leave the shores of Ghana in search of greener pastures if nothing is urgently done.
Many hospitals in this country don't have doctors. I can talk about my district, where there's just one doctor taking care of more than 40,000 people. One doctor. So nobody can convince me that we have enough doctors, that we don't need them, and that we cannot employ. So government should do something, should take immediate steps to ensure that our young doctors who are sitting at home get immediate employment, because they cannot sit at home with vital skills that are needed to save the lives of vulnerable people in this country. Doctors are leaving Ghana for, better life somewhere, especially to the Europe and other places. Nurses who are also not employed are also leaving. So a young country like Ghana, a developing country, we have our highly skilled personnel, doctors and nurses, leaving this country. So what can we boast of as a country? That what we need to save our lives, the personnel that we need to save our lives, are leaving in numbers. So it's not just fear, it's a reality that we all know, that our doctors and nurses are leaving this country. And I always say that, look, our people in this country, they don't need much from us, the politicians. What they need is that we take good care of them. What they need is that they should be guaranteed of quality health care, that a patient gets to the hospital and you receive the best of health care.
We have now been joined on the phone lines by Dr. Thomas Anaba, the Executive Director at the Africa Center for Health Policy, Research and Analysis on the Forward. Good evening to you, sir, and welcome to News Night. Now, what can government do about these doctors who are allegedly sitting home?
Government can do a lot, a lot. Government holds the purse. Government owns the hospital. Government owns the obligation to give to the people of Ghana quality health care. It is their responsibility. We have the health facilities available that are being run by very few people who get tired every evening, who break down very frequently. And government has the purse to engage these people so that it will reduce the burden on doctors and improve the quality of healthcare deliveries in the country. What do we need to do to these people? 1,000 doctors. What a luxury for Ghana that we are rejecting. 1,000 doctors would go a long way to help so many rural people, district hospitals, with fresh doctors, fresh blood, eager to learn, eager to work, to provide services to the people, to make sure they get money, give them appointment letters, and send them to those hospitals that are in dire need of health personnel. I think everything lies on government. The people have spent their whole life with their families studying to become doctors, to help save Ghanaians. And they finish, and government has refused to employ them. And has money to pay senior secondary school leavers to provide health in cheap compounds, and has money to engage so many people in so many ventures, in unnecessary ventures, that is not contributing anything to this country.
Dr. Anaba, we have also had similar challenges with posting of nurses. Now, the private health facility association in Ghana are asking government to post to them some of the health professionals. Now, why does it seem so difficult for this to be done?
I don't see why it's difficult. I am a private practitioner, and I even need staff. Some of them will tell you, we are waiting for government appointment. We can't deal with you. We want part-time. Anyone who wants people, you want to minimize your attrition rate. Why can't allow and even come together with the private health facilities to engage these people so that they can work in areas that government do not have hospitals? so that we minimize the numbers of those who are finished and they are sitting home. Let's bear in mind that a doctor who sits home for 1 month alone is losing skills. A doctor who sits home for 1 year is basically losing about 40-50% of his skills. So we don't need to let this thing happen. Much to this is that the hospitals are far less in numbers of the required numbers to run them. Go to Garu, the whole of Garu, a district, hasn't got a single doctor. The whole of Kutiga, the whole district, hasn't got a single doctor. Zebila, 1 doctor. And the minimum requirement is about 5 general doctors, 4 specialists. And doctors are sitting home and government has no money. What are we paying our taxes for? I think they should come again. So I think that the responsibility is on government and nobody else to get these people employed, to start working, to reduce the burden on the existing doctors who are at the facilities.
All right, Doctor, now to have these doctors given work to do, is there a possibility of them being sold to countries who are willing to pay for their services?
Oh, as for that one, by now some of them are already started learning. Maybe some people start learning in school to write the US exam, to write the British exam, in case they don't get jobs, they go. Most of them are going, even those who are even trained and were working already, are working to go because the condition of service is not encouraging. Even upon all that these people are finished and still want to work, and you are rather throwing more petrol into the fire to encourage them to leave the country. And you are building 101 health facilities. The food organic. That's why I said that I number one to make progress. I don't see what government is really doing. How are you spending money building 111 hospitals when you can employ 1,000 doctors? When 3 facilities of these ones can consume all these doctors? And we have facilities standing with our doctors, and nurses are running them as doctors. And then you said you want to employ people you don't have money. Why do you get money to write DA that even missing yet in the plaster house are writing? We have no priority. I think so. We have no priority in this country.
All right.
It comes to education, we shouldn't joke with it. Because if we fail in health, we all perish. If we fail in education, we all perish. So let's ask government to give proper attention to the health sector. Not only to doctors, but all categories of staff. Let's meet the minimum requirements set up by WHO and improve the quality of healthcare for Ghanaians. I don't see why doctors should sit in the house.
All right. Dr. Thomas Anaba is the Executive Director at the Center for Africa Health Policy Research and Analysis. Here, he spoke to us on the back of a number of 1,000 doctors who are still home and waiting to be posted for work to be done. Away from that for now. Now, an amount of $2 million Ghana paid in 2019 as premium to acquire ordinary shares for development of the Accra SkyTrain project has been reported as a net liability. This is contained in a report by the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana's public boards, corporations and other statutory institutions for the period ended December 31, 2021.
In the report, it emerged that Africa Investor Holdings Limited incorporated a special purpose vehicle, SPV, in Mauritius for the purpose of establishing Ghana SkyTrain Limited to develop the Accra SkyTrain project through a concession on design, build, finance and operate arrangement. According to the Auditor General's report, the government of Ghana, through the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, paid $2 million to Africa Investor Holdings Limited as a full consideration for 10 ordinary shares, $1 per share, in iSkytrain Consortium Holdings, the SVP. Thus, the premium paid for each share was $199,999. The special purpose vehicle has reported a net liability on December 31, 2020. iSkytrain Consortium Holdings is yet to obtain the license for air removal technology required for the SkyTrain project. Feasibility studies that will better inform the project economics and required approval from Cabinet of Ghana and the Parliament of Ghana are still ongoing. The Auditor General noted that investment in the SVP could not be recovered if the Accra SkyTrain project is unable to secure licensing and the executive parliamentary approval. The background is that government signed the concession agreement for the construction of the Accra SkyTrain project in November 2019. The purpose initiated the proposed initiative in Accra was to provide the development of 5 routes, 4 of which were to be comprised of radial routes that would have originated at the proposed SkyTrain terminal at the heart of Accra, at the newly developed Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and 1 route that would have provided an intra-city commuter loop distribution.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has announced that plans are underway to have the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway dualized. The move will help to ensure free flow of traffic to aid express commuting. The president has also cut sord for the construction of the Kaswa-Bojiase Highway as part of his tour of the central region. The following report shares details.
The president is on a 2-day visit to the central region. At the palace of the Ewutu Traditional Council, he paid a courtesy call on traditional leaders, the Ewutu Maihene, Nai, Abokwade Ajeman, Wete, Otabe II. Amongst other requests, asked President Akufo-Addo to consider constructing a bypass at Ewutu Breku to help reduce the vehicular traffic on a stretch, especially during occasions.
Ma onye ide jwana shenensa akwai ejuma shenensa no yesro kache no ntwane no vaihwe dem akwai na yesu nya kwan papa kakra.
In response, President Akufo-Addo announced that it is in government's plan to rather have the entire Kaswa Cape Coast section of the N1 highway dualized. This, according to the president, will help reduce traffic congestion on the stretch.
Traffic are now coming. You have a dualization of Accra Cape Coast. You now this is a number traffic no.
Meanwhile, the president has also cut sord for the construction of the R15 highway from Kaswa to Bojiase. Construction works on the 14-kilometer stretch is expected to be completed in September 2024.
Our Central Regional Correspondent Akosua-Addo is with the president on his tour and joins us with update as to what exactly is happening with the people in the area and the president. Good evening to you, Akosua, and welcome to this night. To start with, the current state of the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway has been a major concern for which you have filed some reports in the past. Now, what difference will the dualization make?
Okay, so Bright, just as we've been mentioning in the various reports concerning accidents made on the road, to have the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway dualized means that we are going to have travel time on that particular stretch significantly reduced because, that road is one of the major highways in the country at the moment because it links the greater Accra region to the central region and then to the western region through to Ivory Coast. So after having it dualized, it means that the number of traffic or the traffic congestion that you normally do record would significantly reduce. Apart from that also, it would help in ensuring that those who use that route can do so in a more safer manner because we're going to have the number of road crashes or head-on collisions being reduced. You do recall that recently in a report we did, almost all major stakeholders did attribute the major cause of road crashes on that particular road to the fact that it is a single carriageway, considering the number of vehicular flow on that particular stretch. So having the road dualized, as mentioned by the president today, would help, one, reducing the traffic congestion and then improve travel time, and then also help reduce accidents on the road. Right.
What else has the president been up to apart from his engagement on the Kaswa, Bojiase and Kaswa Cape Coast highway projects?
Okay, so apart from the road projects, we have had President Akufo-Addo also commissioning some projects under the One District, One Factory policy today. The first one happens to be the cylinder manufacturing plant, which he commissioned at Chocho in the Awutu State, now West District of the region. And then he also had a lubricant manufacturing company also at Gomua Kuti in the Gomua East District commissioned today. The president did mention that since the program was brought into existence, we've had over 160 Ghanaians being employed under the policy. And then we're expecting to even have more people being employed as well when we finally have all the projects that are under construction also completed.
Akwasi, how are the residents receiving the president? Are they considering his words reassuring enough?
Okay, so you see, the president's visit in the region here has been met with varied reactions from the residents of the region. You know, for party folks, they are quite happy that the president is visiting them. But for ordinary residents in the region here, they are not quite happy, especially when it comes to the area of roads, because particularly the areas we toured where they have their roads in poor condition, you could hear the people shouting, come and have our roads done for us. So it tells you that the people quite would want to see improvement in the state of affairs so far as governance is concerned, and also in the areas of job creation. For instance, at the Awutu Traditional Council's Palace, we had the Oman for the Awutu traditional area. Nai Ajimawete Abukweto Tabi II did mentioning that when you have a look at the occurrence of crime within Kasu and the Awutu enclave, the main cause of those instances is that we do not have much jobs for the youth, and so the youth have no options but to engage in those criminal activities. And so he called on the president to, as a matter of urgency, ensure that he is able to create more jobs for the youth.
A quick one before you go, which projects is he expected to inspect on the second day of a tour in the region?
Okay, so the second tour, the second part of the tour, which would happen tomorrow, would see President Akufo-Addo visiting the Commander Sugar Factory, because we have been told that the factory has begun operations and has begun producing sugar. So tomorrow the president will be there to verify for himself, and then after that, he is expected to also grace the Wogafe Festival also.
All right, thank you so much, Akwasi. And Akwasi is our Central Regional Correspondent there, bringing us all the update from the President's tour first day in the Central Region. Tomorrow is another day, a second day there in the region. We'll be here again with more update from the tour. Away from that for now. Now, the Wapuli-Yendi Road in the Northeast region has been left with a big gully following torrential rains in the area this week. The situation, according to Shiraz Sadif Seidu, a journalist in Tripone, has left many residents stranded and several businesses affected.
The destruction of the Wapuli-Triponi-Yendi Road occurred as Sonabel Company Limited, operators of the Bagri Dam in neighboring Burkina Faso, commenced spillage of the dam. The spillage is expected to worsen the impact of flooding on the road and other parts of the community. The Wapuli-Yendi Road is key to the people of Saboba and Tripone districts. What this means is that the two districts have been cut off from the rest of the country. Last week, the main Yendi-Saboba road was also damaged. The situation has left many stranded in the area. The Ministry of Roads and Highways has engaged contractors to urgently work on the Wapuli-Yendi Road. This is according to the District Chief Executive of Saboba, George Bingrini. The DCE who visited the area assured that the road would be fixed soon. Few years back, roadworks were awarded, scheduled to start in 2016 and be completed by June 2019, but halted after the 2016 general election.
We are now joined on phone by concerned resident Shiraf Sidov Seidu for an update. Now, Sidov, good evening to you. When the disaster happened, the district chief executive had earlier mentioned that the affected road will be fixed. Has it been done?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. In fact, this particular road that we are talking about has now become a death trap. Nothing has been done on the road. Like you rightly mentioned, this road, this stretch of road was awarded to two separate contractors, and that is it is made up of 100 kilometers, and it was given to two separate contractors, 50 kilometers each. And when they started work somewhere July 2016, around June 2017, when there was change of government, we were told that the contractors have been asked to temporarily hold on for them to do money for audits exercise on the whole project to ensure that there was no fishy deal with regards to the contract. And you could see that there was a document shared with you, which actually indicates that the road minister did indicate that the contractors were going to call back to site. But up to now, nothing has happened. It is interesting to know that where this unfortunate incident has happened, it is even the best part of the road. When you move beyond that point, in fact, if you are moving with a car and you have never plied that road, you will be made to stop automatically and return back to Yendi or wherever you are coming from. If you realize that where the whole thing, I mean, the bridge has been washed off, is just a place between Sacheku and another village called Nanshao. That is even before Wapuli. So yesterday, cars that moved from Tamale and Yendi towards Cherepon, they got to that place, they had to return to Yendi and then take that stretch of road from Yendi to Gushegu, from Gushegu to Bentiri, from Bentiri to another village called Wanchiki before they got to Chereponi. And since yesterday, that has been the route for travelers from Chereponi to Tamale to Yendi, or from Yendi, Tamale, or wherever, from the inner part of northern region and then the northeast region, or from Accra. Everybody have had to pass through that stretch of the route in getting to Chereponi.
Now, Sidov, tell me that when exactly did this happen? I missed that.
Yes, that was just the day before yesterday, in the 9th. There was a heavy downpour. So the whole of yesterday, the whole place was not motorable. And up to now, it has been same.
All right. Thank you, Shiraz. And Shiraz Sidov Seidu is a concerned resident from the Wapilu area there, bringing us all the update there. A very disastrous situation there, as residents are being left at home and are unable to employ their trade. According to the report he just gave us here this evening. Bringing more updates on that later. But a very quick break. Still to come here after the break. Some stocked COVID-19 vaccines have begun expiring, according to a credible source in the Ashanti region. Take a look at this.
It's a concern because you know how much it costs to produce a vaccine. So for me, it's not the quantum, but the fact that we are not expecting even one vaccine to expire. And that's what we are trying to address.
Welcome back to News Night. Now, the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate says some stocked COVID-19 vaccines are expiring. This is said due to the hesitancy by citizens to be vaccinated. There's more in this report.
Ghana has so far vaccinated over 19 million citizens. This is in a bid to achieve a general herd immunity against the COVID-19 virus. In recent times, however, the percentage of persons fully vaccinated are diminishing as a result of the apathy by citizens. This, the Health Directorate says, has caused some stocked vaccines to exceed their shelf lives.
Every vaccine has its own expiry date. So if you keep the vaccine and you don't use it, at the end of the day, it will expire. So sincerely, we've had some vaccines expiring because people didn't come for the vaccination. Ideally, no vaccine should expire because we don't have any reason. The vaccines are so expensive. So even if one vial expires, it's a concern because you know how much it costs to produce a vaccine. So for me, it's not the quantum, but the fact that we are not expecting even one vaccine to expire. And that's what we are trying to address.
According to the Health Directorate, the Ashanti region can only boast of 33.5% of the total number of vaccinated persons. This, they explained, falls short of the earmarked 70%.
We need to have at least minimum of 70% coverage for the vaccination before you can say that at least we've achieved that herd immunity, which will prevent a further outbreak. But we've not gotten there, despite the fact that the government has given us all the resources. We have the vaccines, we have the human resource, we have the equipment, we have the logistics. I think the major challenge is that of vaccine hesitancy, because there has been a lot of misconception, fear, and then myth surrounding the vaccination. And that's the reason why I think we've met here. We believe that Ghana Health Service cannot do it alone. We need more partnership. People who are trained in social mobilization and then advocacy and then communication so that they can take the message down there. So we engage a number of partners.
The Ghana Health Service has since called on all stakeholders to continue with the awareness on COVID vaccination.
Key stakeholders within Ghana's agriculture space have described as inadequate funding given the sector by government, reacting to the Ghana Statistical Service 2022 survey, which points out that 15.1 million Ghanaians were food insecure in the first quarter of this year. CEO for the Chamber of Agribusiness, Anthony Morrison, and the head of programs for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Thomas Anaba, are both calling on government to work to ensure food security for all, especially those in the food-growing areas of the country.
Annual household income and expenditure survey conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service showed that 14.1 million Ghanaians were food insecure in the first quarter of 2022. Head of programs at the Peasant Farmers Association attributed this to the rain pattern.
From treatment going down, especially from Upper East, Upper West, and Northeast, and then Savannah regions, the rain didn't actually start early. And then there was a lot of variability and then intensity. So that has actually affected those who planted early, and they are yet to harvest their crops. So that's why we may see those figures not actually improving. Notwithstanding, that might not be enough to ensure that the numbers that we are seeing today improve in 2023.
He, however, thinks measures must be in place as the general food situation is steadily declining with every passing year.
Every factor of production, the cost has increased, from mechanization, from fertilizer, from seeds, from agrochemicals to harvesting. And then majority of farmers also have to reduce their farm sizes, others even have to leave the farming. So if that figure should actually reflect on the outcome, then food availability in the market for 2023 is likely to actually get worse than we are experiencing now.
Despite the numerous interventions within the agricultural space by this current government, the food insecurity situation is raising questions about the policies.
The problem is that most of our projects, especially the planting for food and jobs, haven't been well implemented and well thought through. The free SHS that have to depend so much on the buffer stock, and to the extent that we are owing buffer stock and major food suppliers to the free SHS, and we kind of need a more coherent and everybody needs to be brought on board to make sure that we are able to coordinate ourselves out of this current situation.
Ghana is signatory to the Malabo Declaration that requires a 3% increment allocation of annual budget to agricultural investment. However, figures shows that the budgetary allocation on an annual basis is still a little over 1%.
We are live here on Metro from Studio at Regional Accra, the Akpia Boahima studio on DSTV channel 277. A quick break when we come back. Washington will be here with business with us.
Welcome back to News Tonight Live on Metro TV. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. A market survey has revealed that some cement outlets on the market have increased their prices to sell at 65 cedis and 72 cedis respectively. There is more in the following report.
Manufacturers say the increase has been influenced by a sudden rise in the cost of operations from July 2022 due to the sharp depreciation of the cedi over the past months. The wholesale price of a 50-kilogram bag of cement was about 59 Ghana cedis based on an exchange rate of about 7.60 cedis in June 2022. Some of the manufacturers also said customers should expect about 8 Ghana cedis to 15 cedis increase per bag on the market. This will, however, be influenced by the location, as Accra may have a different price from the other regional capitals due to transportation. The development may impact the prices of houses in the short term and the personal budgets of many individuals who are currently putting up houses in the country. Manufacturers had recently pushed for the government to take a second look at the taxes on the inputs and charges at Ghana's port. They had hoped the government will take actions to reduce action to help reduce the price of cement. It is the hope that these manufacturers will see reviewed taxes and levies at the ports, a move that could help slow down the hikes in the price of cement recorded in recent times.
Now, away from that, more than 1.8 million Ghanaians aged between 15 to 24 are either in education, employment, or training. The latest unemployment figures by the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that more than 13% of the working force are currently unemployed.
According to figures from the Ghana Statistical Service, 1.7 million Ghanaians in the labor force were unemployed during the first 3 months of 2022. More than 800,000 people who were employed between January and March this year moved to unemployment status by June.
Now let us look at those who were employed in Q1, who moved to unemployed status in Q2. Close to 850,000 of such people. They were employed in Q1 and transitioned to unemployment rate status in Q2. One would ask, what about those who transitioned from unemployed status to employed status? We're just about 500,000 of that. So we're talking about a net effect of more pressure on those who are unemployed. Because you have 850,000 people moving from employed status to unemployed status, 500,000 people unemployed to employed, the net of about 350,000.
The Ghana Statistical Service defines youth as people between ages 15 to 24, and out of this population, 1.8 million of them are neither employed, schooling, or in training.
Again, what we're going to do in this release is to give variants of issues around labor statistics. Two of such examples is what we call our youth who are not in education, who are not in employment, and who are not being trained, which in the concept perspective, we call it the NEET. That is those not in education, employment, and not in training. This is pretty much different from issues around employment, pretty much different from issues around unemployment. But this is a group that we need to target because they are not being educated, they are not being trained, and they are not in employment.
Although more than 86% of the population that are eligible to work are currently employed, 66% of that, according to the government statistician, are in vulnerable employment, meaning what they term as work is not entirely sustainable.
For business here on News 9. My name is Winston Taki. Sports is next with Phil Junkote. Stay tuned.
It's 50 past 19 hours CMT, the Ghanaian capital, Accra. My name is Phil Junkote. This time for sports. Football rivalry will rekindle once again in West Africa when Ghana take on Nigeria in the CHAN qualifier in Abuja on Sunday. In the first tie, Ghana beats Nigeria by 2-0 at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. Let's hear the manager of the two teams. First, Anna Walker.
In fact, since I have seen the way they play, we also strategize for it. And when we get to Nigeria, it's going to be a different strategy that we approach the game. So we're not coming back losing, or maybe we will not be able to qualify. We're going to Nigeria, and for sure we'll qualify to China.
We'll do something different, definitely. This is the first serious game we have as a team. We didn't have any international friendly, and we see where our weakness is, and we see where Ghana is strong, and we work towards that. I believe in football, everything is possible. The World Cup has come and gone for away Nigerians because Ghana qualified. We drew the game in Kumasi.
You see, Salifo is in charge of the Nigerian Super Eagles Team B over there, preparing for that match on Sunday at the Surulere Stadium in Abuja. Let's go to Europe. Yesterday, the European transfer deadline ended yesterday. Let's find out the biggest spenders. Saturday is that team in London, Chelsea. Remember that they bought Aubameyang as the last transfer. Want to see it on your screen pretty soon and see the biggest spenders. So Chelsea, they coughed out as much as $310 million before the transfer ended yesterday. Manchester United were second. They ensured that they put on board $261 million. West Ham from London also were a third with $200 million. Tottenham fourth in that order. Nottingham Forest, quite interesting. First time, just returned to the Premiership and they spent $178 million on transfer, bringing 21 players. Then Barcelona from Spain, $160 million. PSG, also there from France. Manchester City, all the way to Wolves. Quite interesting over there. Let's get to and find out what happened in the EPL. Now, match day 6. These are the fixtures. It will start at lunchtime in the city of Liverpool. Everton will play against Liverpool at Goodison Park. Then another London derby will be over there because Tottenham will play against Fulham. Fulham over there. Then Chelsea will also be in London against West Ham, all the way to that Sunday crunch game involving Manchester United and Arsenal. See how it goes in the EPL. So these are fixtures, match day 6 of the Ghana. Not Ghana, they should be the EPL, certainly. Then let's go to Italy, quickly. Italy is the Milan derby, which will be a crack. Olivier Giroud over there, the French international, will come face to face against the gentleman from Brussels. We're talking about Lukaku. He plays for Inter Milan. Then you have the French international who plays straight in Italy for AC Milan. So it's a Milan derby kicking off at 5 o'clock Ghana time. That should be at 17 hours CMT in London. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. Up next, we are bringing you Showbiz. So Harriet.
It's now time for entertainment news. Now, a seminar organized by the Musician Union of Ghana, that is Musica, to help stakeholders leverage digital tools to enhance their musical career has been held today, and our cameras were there.
An array of products and services are at our fingertips, and transactions increasingly take place online. Digital and online platforms are the new forms of becoming successful, and it is in the view of this that the leaders of the Musician Union of Ghana organized a summit on digital and online tools and the importance of branding to help catapult the careers of Ghanaian artists. The event happened on Friday, September 2nd at the Virtual Hub in East Legon, dubbed Leveraging Digital and Online Tools for Career Enhancement. Many stakeholders were present at the event. Some upcoming artists expressed their thoughts about the impact of the seminar.
It has helped us a lot. In fact, previously we were just joking. We were just beating about the bush. In fact, they've taught us so many things. I never knew there were so many digital platforms that we could sell our products.
Please, things are going to change, especially the other platforms that we can socialize ourselves on. I think those ones also. The NFT, yes. That's the main one I want to.
Meaning you want to make money?
Yes, I want to.
The acting president threw more light on the importance of the seminar and what they hope to achieve.
Many musicians in Ghana don't understand the modern trends, the digital space that we have to go in and work and make money. For example, now we know that there are so many online stores that, most people don't know about. And that is where the whole business is going now. So when you have about 20 or 30 stores to sell your music, you make more money.
He later pleaded that all musicians join music.
Well, that's it for entertainment news. But before we go, do well to join the Afrocentric live band at the AH Hotel in East Legon and enjoy some live band music. My name is Harriet Adi. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Harriet. It's now time for latest update on the international front.
A United Nations helicopter has crashed while flying over the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo's North Kivu province. The UN humanitarian air service chopper, managed by the WF, went down near the city of Goma on Friday morning. Angola's largest opposition is still contesting the election results. UNITA's presidential candidate, Adalberto Costa Jr., is now calling upon the Constitutional Court to nullify the election and call for a new vote. A U.S. court has made public a detailed inventory of the material seized by the FBI from former President Donald Trump's Florida home last month. According to the filing, agents took 33 boxes of documents, including dozens of empty folders marked classified. Argentina's vice president has narrowly avoided assassination after a gunman's weapon jammed as he aimed at her. Footage shows the moment Cristina Fernandez found herself face-to-face with a loaded weapon. The former president was outside her home, surrounded by a mob of supporters who back her in a fight against corruption charges.
And don't forget that the Afrocentric band will be playing at the H Hotel in Accra at East Legon. Also at exactly 8 p.m. will be the Angela Bamford show here on Metro TV. The weekend on Metro TV just begun. I am Bryce and Uncle Simon, and this has been News Night. Have a good evening. Bye.